The Crystal Pavilion was the crown jewel of the city's social architecture. It was a space of unapologetic classic luxury, soaring limestone arches, floors made of hand-laid Italian marble, and massive crystal chandeliers that hung from the ceiling like frozen waterfalls, vibrating slightly with the sound of a live string quartet. This was the Equity and Innovation Summit, an event where a seat at the head table cost more than most people earned in a decade. Dr. Simone Reed arrived at the pavilion with the calm gravity of a woman who had built her own world. She was the CEO of Aetheris Global, the firm providing the backbone for the city's new sustainable energy grid. She was dressed in a structured, charcoal gray silk gown that was the epitome of quiet authority. No loud logos, just flawless tailoring. When Simone approached Table 1, the designated seat for the evening's keynote speaker, she found a couple already entrenched there, Bradley and Monica Sterling, a pair of mid-level venture capitalists known more for their social climbing than their successful exits, were sipping vintage champagne and laughing loudly. Monica's designer handbag was perched right on top of the place card that bore Simone's name. "Excuse me," Simone said, her voice a low, steady anchor in the room's chatter. "I believe there's been a mistake. This is my seat. We want to take a quick moment to thank you for your support, love, and kindness. We wouldn't have come this far without you. Subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us. It's quick, free, and allows us to continue to bring you great content. Your support means everything. Let's keep this channel growing collectively. Where are you watching from? Drop your city and country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back to the story." Monica Sterling didn't even look up at first. She was busy taking a selfie with the massive chandeliers in the background. When she finally deigned to notice Simone, her eyes raked over her with a dismissive, jagged coldness. "The service staff seating is usually in the overflow lounge, honey," Monica said, her voice loud enough to turn heads. "This table is for the principals, people who actually contribute to the fund." Bradley Sterling let out a sharp, performative bark of laughter. "She's right. You look like you're looking for someone to hand a coat to. Move along. We're expecting the Aetheris CEO any minute, and we'd like the area clear." The social jury, a collection of senators, tech founders, and old money heirs, paused. They didn't intervene. They simply watched with detached curiosity, their glasses poised mid-sip. In the background, the servers continued to move naturally, and at a nearby table, a young journalist sat quietly, his eyes moving between the Sterlings and Simone. "I am the Aetheris CEO," Simone said, her tone unchanged. "And that place card you're sitting on is my invitation. I'll ask you one last time to vacate the seat." Monica laughed, a shrill, ugly sound. She picked up the place card, looked at the name Dr. Simone Reed, and then, with a theatrical flourish, dropped it into her half-empty glass of red wine. "Now at a coaster," Monica sneered. "And you're still a trespasser. Security." Immediately, two white security guards in charcoal suits stepped forward. They moved with a heavy-footed, synchronized aggression, their presence casting a shadow over the marble floor. "Is there a problem here, Mr. Sterling?" the lead guard asked, ignoring Simone entirely. "This woman is harassing us and claiming to be the keynote speaker," Bradley said, leaning back in the chair. "Get her out of the pavilion. She's ruining the atmosphere." The guard stepped toward Simone. The lead guard reached for her arm, his white-gloved hand inches from her charcoal silk. "Ma'am, let's not make a scene. Walk out now or we'll have to assist you." Simone didn't move. She didn't raise her voice. She simply looked at the journalist at the next table, who was now holding a smartphone at a perfect, steady angle, capturing every word in 4K. "Bradley, Monica," Simone said softly, "you both work for Sterling West Capital, correct?" "For now," Bradley smirked. "In 6 months, we'll own it." "Actually," Simone replied, reaching into her small clutch and pulling out a slim, gold-rimmed phone. "In 6 minutes, you won't even have an office to go to." She tapped a single button on her screen. "Marcus, please initiate the reputational breach protocol for the Sterling West account." "Yes, the video is already on the server. Terminate the partnership and recall the $400 million liquidity line immediately." The natural realism of the collapse was instant. Bradley's phone, sitting on the mahogany table, began to vibrate violently. Then Monica's. Then the phones of every investor at table 1. Bradley's face went from a splotchy, arrogant red to a ghostly, translucent white. He grabbed his phone, his thumbs trembling as he scrolled through his notifications. The line of credit has been frozen? Aetheris is our primary LP. What did you do? I didn't do anything, Bradley, Simone said, her quiet authority now filling the entire pavilion. Your behavior did. Aetheris Global does not invest in firms led by people who lack basic human decency. Your firm just lost its largest investor because you couldn't handle the sight of me in your seat. The social jury suddenly shifted. The same people who had been watching the humiliation with detached interest were now frantically distancing themselves. One senator stood up and walked to another table. A tech mogul suddenly found something very interesting to look at on his own phone. Monica stood up, her face twisted in panic. It was a joke. We didn't know who you were. Dr. Reed, please. Respect isn't something you turn on when you find out someone is important, Simone interrupted. It's a standard you live by, and you just failed the test. Simone turned to the 2 white security guards. They were standing frozen, their hands hovering in midair, realizing they were about to eject a woman who was essentially paying for the entire event. Gentlemen, Simone said, these 2 individuals are no longer guests of the summit. Their firm's sponsorship has been revoked. Since this table is reserved for the keynote speaker, which is me, I'd like you to escort them to the exit. Now! The guards didn't hesitate. They took Bradley and Monica by the elbows. It wasn't the aggressive grab they had intended for Simone. It was a firm, undeniable pressure system that had already discarded them. As the Sterlings were let out across the marble floor, Monica's heels clicking frantically and Bradley's shouting about misunderstandings, the room fell into a heavy, respectful silence. Simone didn't look back. She picked up her wine-soaked place carved from the glass, handed it to a passing waiter without a word, and sat down in the center chair. Now, Simone said, looking at the silent elites around her, I believe we were here to talk about innovation. Let's start with the innovation of accountability. The massive crystal chandeliers above continued to sparkle, but the light felt different now. Sharper, clearer. The seats at the head table were finally occupied by the right person, and the classic luxury of the Crystal Pavilion had finally found a leader worthy of the view.